It gets under your skin and it becomes almost like just part of who you are, what you do.
You know, you got the sights and the sounds and the smells, and I think there's something about steam engines, you know, they kind of come to life.
Tanfield, here in the northeast of England, is the world's oldest railway, and this year it turns 300.
It was to move coal. There's a load of private landowners who realised that the coal they had in their land was worth an enormous amount of money.
It's the biggest milestone in the history of our railway, and there won't be another celebration like it in our lifetime.
That'll be an absolutely banging day.
We'll just hope that we can finish the job in time.
From restoring our engines,
Nothing about steam engines simple.
passing down skills,
I want them to know so that I don't have to worry about it in the future.
and welcoming the UK's oldest working steam engine. There are plenty of logistical challenges, and things don't always go to plan.
So we're going to fail the engine and then we'll have to try and get it repaired.
Did I think I'd be doing this when I was 5, drawing pictures of trains in my bedroom? Probably not.
I'm David Watchman, and as the General Manager, I'm in charge of everything here from staffing to events, and it's a real honour to be trusted with this role.
For the North East, I think we're really proud of our history, and I'm really proud of our history. The railway dates back to the early 1700s. It was the Tanfield Wagonway back then. It looked a little bit different to kind of how it is today.
Now we've got a 6-mile round trip through the rolling countryside with platforms, 6 working steam engines and 3 diesels. And in just 4 weeks, we're hosting the biggest party Tanfield's ever seen, and we're relying on an awful lot of goodwill from our volunteers.
Obviously, this is not a brilliant look with these on, but... So I'm Tom Hartley, and I've been a volunteer on the Tanfield Railway since about 2004, so 20 years of steam trains and railways.
Look, Tom.
So I came to Tanfield as a visitor with my parents to go on one of the North Pole Express trains, and I think something in that must have captured my imagination, because it was trains constantly from then on in. And then obviously when I was about 13 years old, became a volunteer, and then moved up the ranks to where we are today. When I'm not at the Tanfield Railway, you'll find me on the Tyne and Wear Metro, where I work as a driver trainer. The enthusiasm for railways goes so far that a year ago I actually got married to my wife here in the engine shed. And I'm lucky that I got away with that.
Can you still see the port at all there?
It's moved backwards.
Right, David, can you put in the back gear now, please?
So when I was 19 years old, I actually bought an engine, number 38, with Dave and a group of mates. We were looking for an engine. We kind of knew we wanted to own one. It was always a childhood dream, because who doesn't want a steam engine? And in the end, Peter very kindly offered us this one.
You put that square back on and we'll see if we can scribe a line.
For me, the 300th anniversary is really important, as it's given me a kick to get my own engine, number 38, towards the final stages of its restoration. On the floor like that, is that any good? We're probably about 60, 70% of the way through it at the minute. It's an enormous amount of work, it's an enormous amount of money. It's a lot of trial and error and working off the experience of people like Peter. But I think there's a sense of satisfaction that you don't get with other projects.
You can't do this in a hurry, I'm afraid.
You can't do anything on a steam engine in a hurry.
No. I've had this engine as a bit of a hulk since, the early 70s, 50 years anyway. I was never going to do anything with it. I wanted it to be restored. That's why I bought it. And it seemed the best option for me to pass it over to the lads. So it was a clean break for me. At least I thought it was. Hand over all responsibility. And hopefully have the pleasure of seeing the engine steaming one day.
We're certainly proud of achieving 300 years. I got involved with Tanfield, I think it was 1970 or 71, because I wanted there to be some steam locomotive preservation in the northeast. It was quite frightening, the number of lovely machines that are getting scrapped regularly. So that was the motivation. Somebody had to do it before we lost our history, and it was particular about local history as well.
Taking more than my lifetime to do it all. but I've got the confidence to know that they're going to be repaired and working, rather than just rotting away and getting scrapped. That the next generation is going to do it all. We've got that.
Yeah, it looks all right to me. Well, I don't think we'd be able to do a lot of this without guidance from people like Peter. You know, a lot of these tricks of the trade are not available on the internet, are not written down in a book. This is on-the-job experience and learning. And, you know, today we're learning how to set the valves in the engine. I know the principle, but I've never done it before. The only way we're going to be able to keep doing this is to learn and to pass that on. Because, you know, I'm in my early 30s. I would hope by the time I'm Peter's age that there's a generation beneath me who want to learn how to do this, because that's what this is about.
So I think every fireman's got different ways of lighting up. What we're going to do now is I'm actually going to use this bit of wood to light the loco. I'm Sophie, I'm a volunteer here and I'm training to be a fireman. So I think the fireman is the most fun job when operating a steam train. So on the locomotive, you are responsible for essentially two things, the water and then the fire. And I think people misconceive it for putting out fires, and we do exactly the opposite. We make the fires. What I love about steam and trains is that there's not a lot of things that you can take a match to or a lighter to in the morning and bring a huge mechanical piece of equipment to life. I grew up at Model Railway in the Midlands. My dad was doing a lot of the building of it as an electrical engineer, so he was massively involved in that, and we used to go down every week. Weekends we'd spend there. I remember sleeping on a pillow underneath the railway when I was tired as a child, and I must have been very young, about 8, and I stood on the footplate of the Mallard at the National Railway Museum, and I was given a shovel, and my brother was given a driver's hat, and from that point I said, yeah, I want to be a fireman, this is what I want to get involved in. From then on, it never kind of left me. So Tom's about to do my assessment, which means whether I'm competent as a fireman to be able to take people out and train people up in doing what I'm doing. So I've been doing it now for a little while on my own, quite a few turns, and now it's time to see if I'm capable of progressing on to the next stage. Now's the big moment, I guess. 2025 is such a busy year. So I've got a new job, I'm turning 30, I get married to Dave, Tanfield's turning 300, I've got galas and celebrations on, it's all go.
So today we're going to assess Sophie as a fireman, and we're going to do it on a unique locomotive which has just been restored, called Twisel. It's the first time we've had Twisel out since an £80,000 overhaul. So there's been an enormous amount of work, predominantly on the boiler and the firebox. It's had a good repaint as well.
The engine's far bigger than we really need, to be honest.
She's lovely, I love her.
Right. It rides very well, it steams very well. It's just putting it away and getting it started that's hard work. One of the things we're looking for Soph to be doing is understanding not just how the engine works, but the gradients of the railway as well. So we're about to go down quite a steep incline, and I can tell that the fire's getting hotter by my right foot and left knee, which are now starting to steam a little bit. And you're currently right now on the oldest part of the railway. There's an embankment built here which leads up to the Causey Arch, and that is the part of the railway that's 300 years old this year, 2025. It was to move coal. There's a load of private landowners who realised that the coal they had in their land was worth an enormous amount of money, and their problem was the logistics of moving it. They could sell it, but they had to move it.
Sorry, Tom.
It's all right.
You may need to say all that again.
You do what you need to do. So they came up with the idea of a wooden wagonway, which was horse-drawn. And it went from the coal fields over here, over the Causey Arch, which is the oldest single-span railway bridge in the world, onto the railway here, which is the oldest railway in the world. And then it went down to the Tyne, and onto ships, and then into London and all sorts of places. And that was long, long, long before the steam engines like this existed.
So it was a wooden wagonway, so wooden rails, a wooden wagon, and a horse and a man guiding the horse. And it was one of the busiest wagonways in the world. And over the years, it turned to iron rails in the early 1800s. But really, a lot of the early railway history sort of took place here. So as part of the Tanfield 300 celebrations, we've been in planning for a replica of a wagonway over the last couple of years. And it gives people a sense of kind of how they moved coal back in the 1700s.
Trying to make round pins.
Using traditional methods makes it painstakingly slow.
So we'll finish off pinning all of the joints in the top, and also joints which are under here, just to hold them together. And then the next stage is we're just awaiting the delivery of some timber to make some wheels, which is going to be interesting.
Could I hear it in?
Sorry?
Could I
I'm going to get a hammer.
Oh, you want a hammer? A hammer.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
No. I think that'll hold things together. We'll just hope that we can finish the job in time for the anniversary.
How many more will you have to do, do you think?
About 20.
What we're really doing here is assembling all the wooden track bed for the wagon. These are full sections, and then there's smaller bits to join all these together. So we've got it easy compared to what they had, because they didn't have electric drills and all this sort of stuff. You've got to admire the guys who put it all together in the first place. I'm of that age, I think. I mean, I'm, in my 70s, so I can remember steam trains, and I was a train spotter. And I think when I retired, I was looking for something that combined the two. So the heritage railways and the social aspect of it. Goodness, I would have never done anything like this in the past. The last time these were done was 300 years ago. So, we're putting our mark on history again. Good day's graft.
We've got a fantastic bunch of volunteers. Everybody has their own skill set. They're all involved, everything from grass cutting right up to driving the trains themselves. So a massive importance there. And I think it's all about the people, aged from 12 all the way up to 92. Bob, he's 92 and he's fitter than me.
Well, I started coming here in the back end of the summer of 1977. After one of my friends who worked here invited me to come up and give him a hand. And I just keep on coming. I like it here.
The railway wouldn't exist without our volunteers. Over the years, they've reinstated the 3 miles, or a section of the Tanfield branch, which is 3 miles long from Sunnyside to East Tanfield, restored numerous locomotives and carriages, and built stations, because there was no stations along the railway, and put in the infrastructure, as well as obviously the operation and the behind the scenes. So quite a lot's happened in those 50 years.
This photo was taken in the 1970s, and it was a moment in time, really. It was a celebration of what had been achieved so far. And as we come into our 300th anniversary year, we wanted to recreate this photo with our volunteers at the big event.
I'm really proud of our history, and I've been around the railway since the age of 7. I've grown up here. I've had a lot of memories here, made a lot of friends, learned a lot of new skills, had to go at various things over the years. And I think, it just becomes part of you. And I think that's why, I call this place home, really, in that respect. It was an excuse for my dad to come up, really. I think, I'm going to take Dave at the railway. He wanted to be involved, and, I tagged along. He did guard, so, the back of the train, making sure that passengers were all okay. Just kind of generally got involved with anything that he could do. couple of years ago, we did lose my dad here. He had a heart attack, sadly, at the railway. And I think, yeah, it was a real emotional roller coaster, really. Sadly, for that to happen, was a bit of sort of kick in the teeth, really. And I had to move away from the place. You know, it was sort of mentally, you know, emotionally difficult. I think with having a little one, you know, I've got a 3-year-old now, I want to do exactly the same. You know, I want to, you know, tell the stories of his granddad and, you know, what we used to get up to here. And, yeah, create those new memories.
Hey, Rory, I think coming into a railway family doesn't really have a choice in not liking trains, as you can see here.
Nothing about steam engines simple.
With less than 3 weeks to go until the big event, we've got a huge amount of restoration work to do on number 38.
Looking back when we were 19 and 20 and we bought this, we had no idea how to do it. But I actually think that's a good thing, because I think if you'd actually understood what was involved, you probably would have walked away. I think you've just got to have the enthusiasm to want to learn to do it.
You know, we were like kids at Christmas when we took it on, and a lot of people would have looked at it and just gone, well, there's no way that's ever going to run again, so why would you even bother? But, you know, that kind of blissful ignorance at the time is, you know, it's really developed us. It's so worth it. If I could go back to starting out here 11 years old again, I would go and do it all over again, knowing what's coming now and knowing what we've still got to go. You know, it's just such a fantastic thing to be a part of.
Our spare time's relatively limited with working full-time and obviously everything else that is involved in running the railway. And to be absolutely honest with you know, I've got married, you're getting married. Yeah. We've got lives. Like, there is more to life than trains, but don't quote me as saying that.
We've got just 2 weeks to go until the event, but we've always got time for a party.
It's Sophie's 30th, definitely a cause for celebration.
I don't think I've actually sat in this carriage before.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever had afternoon tea.
It's as much the social aspect of enjoying what you're doing with people who you respect and you get along well with, as much as it is about the history and the machines.
It's a nice setting compared to being on the engine.
We've always had, like, the railway's like a railway family. Like, everyone mucks in, everyone chips in, everyone does things for other people. Like, it's always somewhere you can turn to.
It is like a second family. Coming and doing this, one of the best things you can come and do, really.
Do you want a strawberry, Ewan?
No, thank you. No, I don't eat fruit.
We've only got 48 hours to go, and there's still an enormous amount to do.
We've got furnace number 20 turning up today, which is the oldest working steam engine in the UK at the moment. So we've got that hired to help us celebrate the 300th anniversary. So world's oldest existing railway, world's oldest working engine shed, and the UK's oldest working steam engine. So there's a few top trump things in there, I suspect. Yeah. So that's supposed to turn up this afternoon on a lorry. So we'll see how that goes for time.
All being well, hopefully.
Way aye. Get a bus through there, man.
In the meantime, we're cracking on with number 38.
So we're just cleaning up so we can refit the water tanks which have been shot blasted and painted today. Come up a bit.
It'll be a big visual difference, I think. It's just something for us to come into, and it just keeps our mindset positive, keeps us pushing towards ultimately what the end goal is.
Try coming down slow. Obviously the blasting's really got into the metal, but it's pretty smooth. So it's nice to have a few for the memory bank. So in 40 years' time, I can bore me grandkids to death with it. Yeah. Now we just need to paint it. It looks a bit bright, but it will fade down quick enough. To actually have it presentable for the first time since 1973 feels like a bit of a milestone one way or another.
It's 24 hours until the big event, and it's getting very busy and very stressful. And unfortunately, we've had a bit of a delay with making the wheels for our wagon.
We're busy making the first one, perhaps the first one made for 250 years. So we did the drawings, designed it. Then we've had a big delay because we couldn't find a source of timber of the right dimensions. Now, in the old days, we would have sawn them out straight off the log of the tree by hand. Now, people with sawmills with modern material, it's not so good for getting the big chunks that we require. So there's been a bit of a delay. We've lost several weeks, perhaps a couple of months, trying to redesign the wheels to match what timber is available. Unfortunately, we won't have it ready for the event, but we will have it in the autumn. We'll have this wagon working on wooden track with a horse, and then we'll really understand how railways worked 300 years ago.
So we've got Furnace 20 just arrived. It's on the back of the lorry here. Yeah, it's been like months and months of work and sort of logistical planning to get to this point. So it's always nice when you sort of see the wheels hit the ground. And yeah, on to Tanfield Metals, which is something that we've been looking forward to for a little while now. It's one of our main attractions for the Tanfield 300 events.
We're also relying on the event to create a revenue to keep the railway going for future generations.
It does cost quite a significant amount to move a loco like this, and yeah, you've just got to make sure that you recoup that cost, which is always the worrying bit, really. We're just about to put a bit of a warmer fire in it, check it over, and then, yeah, get it ready for the weekend. The big event starts tomorrow.
You don't have to move, Tom. Just tell us what the issue is, mate.
My arm isn't long enough. That's the problem.
So today is the day of the big event. There's no turning back now. So we're expecting 500 people to visit us today. We've got 7 steam engines out, and we've got about 50 volunteers with us. It's going to be busy.
Definitely an experience. And it really doesn't get much better than being put in charge of one of the world's oldest working steam engines. Whenever you're on somebody else's engine that you've not been on before, it's just, where is everything? How does it behave? What does it like? What does it not like? By the end of the day, I'll have figured it all out, really. But it's a lovely thing. It's a real credit to the guys who've restored and looked after it. Tim and his team have done a fantastic job of bringing Furnace 20 back to life.
It had a working life of 97 years before we got it, and since then, since we restored it it first steamed in 1999, it's done another, 26 years. So we're still getting work out of it. It's incredible. We see ourselves as the custodian of the engine. We're only around for so long. That's been around for 160 years so far.
It's most definitely a Victorian experience, 38 that David and I own is 1949, and this is 1863, so there's a huge amount of change between the two designs, but it's a lovely, lovely thing. The only similarity between modern electric trains and this is the distance between the track is the same, the gauge. After that, everything else is completely different, and that's part of the reason why I enjoy both, because variety's the spice of life, isn't it? We're a few hours into the day, and unfortunately, we've discovered a small problem with Furnace 20.
We've just noticed that there's actually a couple of bolts that have come out of some of the motion. So we're going to fail the engine at the moment. We're going to put it just out the way, and then we'll have to try and get it repaired.
I don't know if it's happened today or when it's happened, but it's still together.
With Furnace 20 out of action, Sophie and her loco Stanley are taking up the slack.
You all right? It's been great. It's been a great day so far. To celebrate the 300 is always something special. And meeting people from other railways as well. So one of the girls who's a fireman at a different railway, who I've met virtually before, but I've never met in person. So it was really nice to meet her. I'm currently the only female fireman here. I recognised as a teenager it wasn't the standard thing for girls to like trains, and I kind of stepped back from it a bit, and now I just embrace it completely. Now I'm proud to like trains, and I would absolutely love to have more females doing what we do.
I think it's fantastic because, you know, the more different people we can have from different walks of life with different experience, different ways of looking at the world, the better. You know, it diversifies us. And also it's just nice to see that different people are enjoying it, you know, outside the stereotype of what everybody thinks a train driver or a steam enthusiast is, i.e. me.
Yeah, they're there. They're there. That's fine, yeah. It's all right, it's fine. They'll go from the other side in.
Oh! Disaster is averted as we've realised that the bolt is actually in the correct place after all.
Right. I ring David Reid. We're all right. Panic over? Panic over, yeah.
You cannot be too careful with something that's old when you spot something that's wrong.
It's just basically 2 threaded holes with nothing in them, but the bolts are on the other side. So we're all...
Hello, mate. Cancel that. We fixed it. All right, we're coming back up. Sorry, we'll be a bit late, but do I need anything? Yeah, I need a foreign holiday and a couple of pints, but I can't have it right now, can I?
With Furness 20 back in action and a record number of visitors to the railway, it's been a busy but hugely successful day.
It was a great atmosphere. It was great to see so many people here, and we really like it when we come here and it's busy, because it means that hopefully it'll be here for many years to come and lots more people will be able to enjoy it.
The Tanfield is so important because it's keeping that legacy, that tradition alive. And these are skills that we want to keep going, because if we don't, we will lose them. We will never get them back ever.
This is wonderful. This is exactly what we've seen here 100 years or more ago.
Tonight, we are going to position all of our 6 working steam engines, which we have spent a lot of time, a lot of effort put into restoring those over the years, alongside the visiting local Furness number 20. So we're going to have 7 steam engines outside the front of the engine shed. So some of the volunteers here, which are going to feature in the photograph, actually featured in one of the original photographs, which was taken in the 70s as well. So we saw that photograph and we thought, oh, as it's our 300th anniversary, we'll need to kind of recreate that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, which is going to be a little bit of, you know, positioning and a bit of logistics to how we do that. So that's going to be quite a sight and quite a celebration as well. I think the most amount of engines that I've seen in front of the engine shed at any one time is about 5. So trying to fit 6 of our own plus a visiting loco as well has been a bit of a logistical nightmare. We haven't got sort of enough tracks to fit them on. So we've squeezed them in, and yeah, it's sort of worked out behind us.
Okay, so obviously we're all here for the 300th anniversary, but there's other personal achievements going on at the moment, so I'm going to embarrass Sophie and ask her to come out here. Come on. And we're going to congratulate her on a recent promotion to fireman. There you go. I'll give you that hand.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
With all our locos and volunteers assembled, it's time to create history.
Seeing all the locos outside, you know, seeing all the volunteers, you know, enjoying themselves, you know, it makes you really proud and honoured to be part of it. So yeah, that makes it all worthwhile.